was funny. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Naomi. This is my first ever YouTube video. After years of not a lot of confidence and pure laziness, I have decided to just go ahead and do it. Today's video is going to be how I got this simple basic for me because I'm extra makeup look. So if you would like to see how I achieved this, then get yourself a cup of tea, press the subscribe button and continue to watch. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with my eyes. The way I work is I go from eyebrows to shadow and then do my face and whatnot. With my eyebrows, what I've been using for quite a while is a purple eyeshadow. I have purple eyebrows I have had for years. I usually sort of day to day use just an eyeshadow, and then if I'm feeling a little bit fancy, then I'll go over in the corners or sort of do a few strokes with an eyeliner, which I am going to do today. But the powder I will be using and what I use a lot is the Delilah Color Intense eyeshadow in Thistle. I believe this is discontinued. I'll have to have a look, and if it's not, then I'll put a link in the description box below. But what I do is I just brush my eyebrows out first, filling them in. So I go underneath and then in the corners, just to get the shape. So I just sort of kind of push the brush in and just go out in the direction that the hair grows. Okay, so that's just sort of the standard shape. And then I'm going to go ahead and clean up. But before I do so, I realize my lips looking kind of dry. So I'm just going to go ahead and use some lip balm. My top lip balm ever. It's from Avon, Skin Recovery Lip Balm with nutrients and emollients. Ooh. And I believe it's like, I don't know, they're like £1.50 or something like that. But whenever I see them, and sometimes they're on offer as well, whenever I see them, I have to buy at least 5 because they're just so good. So I'm gonna go ahead and just define my eyebrows with a pencil. And this is the Daniel Sandler Long Lasting Waterproof Eyeliner in Purple Velvet. I'm quite happy with the shape that I have. So I'm just sort of putting a few little strokes in there because this has a tiny little bit of shimmer in as well. So when the light catches, you know, get your eyebrows all blinging. Anyway, that's done. So I'm going to clean my eyebrows up now with some concealer. This is the concealer I use for underneath my eyebrows and underneath my eyes. It's the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Toffee. So just give that a little bit of a squeeze. So what I usually do is just put a few little dots, because sometimes you can squeeze this and they squirt everywhere. I mean, I've lost Uber ratings. I shouldn't say this, but I've lost Uber ratings. One time I was in an Uber doing my makeup and I squeezed it and it just went like all over the ceiling, and I thought the driver didn't notice, but my rating went down, so he did. But yeah, anyway, so I've just got these 3 dots, and then if I need some more then I'll go in afterwards. So I've just got a small angled brush. Now that my eyebrows are done, I'm just going to go ahead again with the Toffee concealer and just pop that all over the eye. Okay, so eyebrows done. Moving on to eyeshadow. I'm going to keep this look really simple and just use 3 colors. So 2 colors which I'm going to use are from one of my favorite palettes at the moment, the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Ring the Alarm palette. And so the colors I'm going to be using from this palette are this one here, Mugshot, and this one here, Alert. And they're just going to be sort of in the crease and just underneath the brow. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead first with Mugshot and just taking it on a fluffy blending brush. Okay, so that's done. Moving on to the second color, Alert, which is slightly darker. So I just take the brush back and forth and blend upwards as well into that other color. Move on to the final color, which is in a different palette. This is in it's a Morphe eyeshadow palette. It's one of their big ones like this. Can't be asked to count the colors, but it's one of these ones, and I am going to use it. They don't have shade names, but I'm going to use this one here. So I'm just going to go ahead and first of all just sort of get the shape with a small flat brush. Okay, so I'm just starting off pressing the colour into the lid. The eyeshadow that I'm using is quite pigmented, so I didn't really need to sort of go back and forth into the palette. And I'm just finishing that up there. And then I'm blending for my life. Just blend, 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 blend. Then just going to go sort of on the inner corners of the eye, back with Mugshot from the first palette, which is sort of a light orange. And just taking that in between here, just to give it a little bit of a blend, and also contouring the top bit of my nose. Okay, so my eyes are done. I'm gonna move on to my face now. So what I've been doing recently, sort of a new thing with my face when I have the time, but it doesn't really take that long, is using setting spray first and then applying my products when they're wet. But I'm gonna go ahead and prime first, and the primer that I'm gonna use today is the Ren Perfect Canvas primer. It's sort of a finishing primer. It's almost like a serum and primer in one. Yeah, I've just got a few drops of that. And what I like to do is just warm it up in the hands first, and then go ahead and pop it everywhere. Great thing about this primer is that it's safe to use right underneath the eyes. Pretty much ready to just go ahead and get in there. So the sprays that I'm going to use, because my skin is a little bit dry and acting a bit cray-cray at the moment, I'm going to use two setting sprays, two of my faves. So the first one is the Caudalie Beauty Elixir. If you don't know about this, sis, just go and get it. I'm going to go ahead and use this one first. Spritz it up. Oh, that was just so nice and refreshing and quite hot. And then I'm going to go ahead with the NYX Dewy Finish setting spray. This one squirts out a little bit more. So I don't use a proper foundation. What I use and have been using for quite a while is the LA Pro Conceal, the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Chestnut, I believe, is it? Yeah, in Chestnut. But I'm just going to go ahead and use this. So what I like to do is give it a squeeze carefully so it doesn't go everywhere. Start underneath my eyes first. So, oh god, that's quite a lot. Just going to put a little bit underneath my eyes. And I don't put it everywhere because I like to sort of see, you can see I'm just like flinging it anywhere, but I like to sort of see my skin through it. I'm going to use a brush today just for the sake of time, so I'm just going to go ahead and blend that all out. So the furthest I would take it is just sort of up here. This is sort of where my skin is the same color, but it is darker in the corner, so I don't bother. Okay, so that's cool. When it comes to the glow and my skin, I am super extra, but because I wanted to keep this tutorial quite simple, I'm just going to do only one of the steps I do in terms of one of the extra steps I do in terms of highlighting underneath my eyes. And it was a recent discovery. I don't know what possessed me to do it, but I just decided to do it. So what I do before I put my lighter under eye concealer on is go ahead with the Fenty matchsticks in cinnamon, and I pop this underneath my eyes. So the matchsticks wasn't warm enough, so I just went ahead and put some on the back of my hand just to warm it up, and then I went ahead and just popped some with my ring finger underneath my eyes. So yeah, hasn't made a crazy difference, but up close it does sort of give a really nice glow. So that's done. Just going to go ahead now with my under eye concealer. So I'm going back in with the toffee. So I just start off putting a little bit right in the corners of my eyes and spreading it out a little bit. Then with a wet beauty blender, just blending that out. I use the NYX Dewy spray on my beauty blender. So I set underneath my eyes with the Ben Nye translucent set. Next I do is blusher, and the blush I'm going to use is from the compact I've been using. It's an e.l.f. 4-color blush palette, and I'm just going to use every single color apart from this one because blush is life. What I like to do is not hold my brush so with like not a lot of grip. I like to just sort of keep it quite light so the brush sort of moves around, because the sort of heavier the grip you have with the brush, the heavier the color. Okay, so my blusher is done. I'm just gonna move on to contour now and just keep it really simple. Using the e.l.f. bronzer palette, and it's the darkest one that they have. So just go ahead with the darker color and blend upwards, and also just taking it on my forehead. I don't use foundation on my forehead, so I kind of go a little bit heavier with the powder and just make sure it's blended into my hairline. So just to sort of make my cheeks look a little bit less chipmunkish, I'm just going back in with my foundation slash concealer in the chestnut. So I just pop that concealer underneath the contour just to make it a little bit sharper and make my face a little bit skintier, and then just blend it with my index finger and a brush. Okay, so that's done. And then what I like to do to sort of bring everything together, because I have used quite a lot of powders, I just sort of blend everything together and sort of use this kind of like a finishing powder as well, is I use my original foundation, and I do swear by it and always use it, is a Bare Minerals foundation. So I just go ahead and just take some on a big brush. So this is So now I'm just gonna go underneath my eyes. I'm not wearing any eyeliner today, but I'm just gonna go ahead with the Jaclyn Hill palette one more time. So I'm gonna go and put some lashes on and I'll be back. Okay, I had to do my lashes off camera because the struggle is real, but we're getting to my favorite bit, which is highlighter, and I am using the Bretman Rock Morphe highlighter palette, which is just amazing. And again, because I am extra, I'm going to use this one, Chihu, and I can't pronounce that on camera because my family's watching, but this one here, if you see the palette, you know what it means. And a little bit of this one up here as well. Sorry, Mom, if you can see it. Okay. Go ahead. Oh. My favorite bit. I love this pink one. The pink one is my favorite out of all of them. And that is it. Just gonna check in the smaller mirror that it doesn't look ridiculous. No, looking cute. So that's my highlighter done. And then just moving on to the final step, which is lipstick. What I am using is gonna be it's actually an eyeshadow crayon, but I never believe in just using one thing for one purpose. So it is a Avon True Eye Enhancing Shadow Crayon in chocolate, but this has not come out yet. So when it does, I'll update it in the description box, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna pop this all over the lip. And then just for a little bit more pizzazz, I'm gonna go ahead and use a Morphe lip topper in Fortune Teller. And this came in like a 20 pack. I got this for Christmas and it was like one of the best presents I ever got. Shout out to my sister who got it for me. Thank you. And yes, so I'm just going to do my hair quickly and then we will be finished. So I just went ahead and fixed my headpiece and put on some hoops because why not? But I just looked at myself and I do want a little bit of inner corner highlight. So I'm just going to go again with the Morphe palette and just go for this one, yeah. Just want to dust my shoulder off with a little bit of highlight. Overall is my simple makeup. I am going to try in the future to do more videos where it's sort of more scaled back, so there's a little bit of variety because it's going to get a lot crazier in terms of makeup, but I do want to put out some content out there that is a little bit more simpler, so for people that just getting into makeup and just kind of want to see, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? But if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please can you subscribe if you haven't already, and also share it with your friends, share it with your mom, share it from that lady you always see in Sainsbury's and her dog. I would really appreciate it. I will be putting out another video next week, but for now, thank you so much for watching. Bye.